Hello grade 6 students and welcome to this lesson of module 4, which is Top Stars part 2. To be able to follow me, please bring your students' books and have them ready on pages 45 and 71, your workbooks on page 37. And of course, don't forget to bring your pen and a blank sheet of paper to take notes if needed. As usual, you need to know why you're watching this video. In other words, what are the learning objectives of this lesson? Number 1, use have to express obligation in the present or future. Number 2, use don't have to express lack of obligation in the present or future. Obligation when something is necessary. And the meaning of lack of obligation is when something is not necessary. Look at this cute girl. What do you think she is? Thank you. She is a student. And she has to go to school. She doesn't have to go by bus. She can go by car. Let's look at this picture and think together what this is. Thank you. It's a mall. So, how do you go to the mall? Do you go by bus, by taxi, or by car, or you go on foot? For me, I go by bus. So, I'll take the bus to the mall. If I take the bus to the mall, do I have to buy a ticket? Of course, yes. So I have to buy a ticket. But I don't have to buy a round trip one, since I may take a taxi to go back home. So we use have to or has to express obligation when something is necessary in the present or future. And we use don't have to and doesn't have to express lack of obligation. That means when something is not necessary in the present or future. And now it's time to see the form of this structure. If we go to the form, we use the base form of the verb after have to, has to, don't have to, or doesn't have to. She is a student. She has to go. So here we use go, the base form of go after has to. Next, she doesn't have to go by bus. Here also, we use the base form of the verb go after doesn't have to. And now it's time to go to page 71 of the student's book because we're going to read together this part of the grammar reference. Grammar reference, have to and don't have to. Let's remember together that we use have to express obligation. It means when something is necessary. And we use don't have to express lack of obligation. That means when something is not necessary. So let's read the examples together and start with the affirmative form of the sentence. The first one is I have to eat. Next, you have to eat. After that, he has to eat. She has to eat. It has to eat. We have to eat. You have to eat. And the last one, they have to eat. Have you noticed that in these three sentences, we used has to? Good. So we use has to instead of have to if the subject is he, she, or it. And now it's time to move to the negative form. Let's read these sentences of the negative together and start with the first one. I don't have to eat. You don't have to eat. He doesn't have to eat. She doesn't have to eat. It doesn't have to eat. We don't have to. You don't have to. And the last one, they don't have to eat. If we look at these three sentences again, we notice that we used doesn't followed by have to in case the subject is he, she, or it. Practice time. Reorder the following words to make correct sentences. Let's start with this one as a model. We have the words we study at school English to and have. Can you think of how to reorder these words to make a correct sentence? I'll give you some time to think. Thank you. So the sentence should be, we have to study English at school. Now, let's move to sentence number 2. Has Ali brushed to his teeth? I'll give you some time to think, and then we check together. Excellent. It's gonna be Ali has to brush his teeth. Number 3. Don't they have to at night work? Good job. They don't have to work at night. Let's move to the last one. Doesn't he drink have to tea? Good. He doesn't have to drink tea. Assessment time. Go to your workbook, page 37, because we are going to work on activity 2. Look at the table and write sentences. So, we're going to write sentences based on the information in the table. So, look at the table and write sentences about what Eddie and Will and Trevor have to and don't have to do after school. If we look at the table, you will find in the first column the activities that we're going to write about. Do homework, tidy room, water plants. So let's start with this tick. The tick means have to. So Eddie and Will have to. Number 1, Eddie and Will have to do the homework after school. And if we go to this X or cross, that means don't have to or doesn't have to. This is for Trevor about doing homework. So the sentence will be, Trevor doesn't have to do his homework after school. Now, it's time to pause the video to write the remaining sentences. Back again to check. Number 3. Eddie and Will have to tidy the room. Number 4. Trevor doesn't have to tidy his room after school. Number 5. Eddie and Will don't have to water the plants after school. And the last one. Trevor has to water the plants after school. Thank you. Now let's go to the student's book again. especially on page 45. We're going to work on this exercise, exercise 5. Look at the school rules in the box and talk about what you have to or don't have to do. This boy has given us a model. He has chosen this prompt, do homework, to say we always have to do our homework. And the other boy has chosen the second prompt to respond saying yes, but we don't have to type our homework. Now, it's your turn to make sentences like these using have to and don't have to about the school rules in this box. Back again to check. Let's see what you have got. If we go to this rule, be on time. Do we have to be on time at school? Of course, yes. So the sentence is, we have to be on time. Next rule, be polite. Do we have to be polite at school, or we can behave in any way? Good. We have to be polite. Next rule, wear a uniform. Can we wear anything at school? Of course not. We have to wear a uniform. After that, use computer. Do we have to use a computer at school? Of course no, because we can use books. So we don't have to use a computer. It's optional. We can use it or not. Tidy classroom. As students studying at school, do we have to tidy our classroom, the classroom that we study in? Of course, yes. So we have to tidy our classroom. Study in the library. Is it a must to study in the library? Is it necessary? No, we don't have to study in the library. We can study at home only. The last one, do projects. As students, do we have to do projects? Yes, we have to do projects. At the end of this lesson, I hope you have enjoyed learning with us. Thank you and see you next time.